Today's Bible story is the story Moses sends out 12 spies into Canaan. What's that, Francis John? You've had a letter to say that someone has promised to give any bear who wants it a large jar of honey free. Ooh. They live in a village near here, and all you have to do is to go there and get the honey. That sounds good. When are you going? You don't think you will, because you've also heard that there are some big bears who live there, and you think they might be nasty to you. Oh dear, Francis John, I'm sure you wouldn't have been invited if it wasn't going to be okay. It seems a shame to miss out on your free jar of honey. Well, in our Bible story today, we hear how Moses sent men to find out what the new land that God had promised his people, the Israelites, was like, and what happened when they came back and told the people what they had found. Are you ready for our story today? The story Moses sends out 12 spies into Canaan. God's people, the Israelites, had been slaves in Egypt. Moses rescued them, led them out of Egypt and through the Red Sea. God said to Moses, "Send some men to explore the land of Canaan. I will give this land to the Israelites, as I promised Abraham. Send one leader from each of the 12 tribes who are named after your ancestor Jacob's 12 sons." Moses did what God said, and these are the 12 men he chose: Shammua, Shaphat, Igal, Paltai, Gadil, Gadai, Armuel, Sethur, Nabai, Guel, Caleb, and Joshua. Moses sent them out to explore Canaan. He said, "See what the land looks like. Learn about the people who live there and try and bring back some fruit from that land." The men explored the country for 40 days, and then they went back to the camp. They told Moses, Aaron, and all the people what they saw and showed them the fruit from the land. The men told Moses, "We went to the land where you sent us. It is a land filled with many good things. Here is some fruit that grows there. But the people living there are very powerful. The cities are large and strongly defended." Caleb and Joshua said, "The land we saw is very good, is a land filled with many good things. God will lead us into that land, and he will give us that land." But the other men who had gone with him said, "We cannot fight those people. They're much stronger than we are." The Israelites complained and said to Moses and Aaron, "We should have died in Egypt or in the desert. Did God bring us to this new land to be killed? It'd be much better for us to go back to Egypt." Moses and Aaron bowed low to the ground in front of all the people. God spoke to Moses and said, "How long will these people continue to turn against me? They show that they don't trust me or believe in my power, in spite of the many miracles I've done among them. None of the people I led out of Egypt, who are over 20 years old, will ever see the land of Canaan, except Caleb and Joshua. Instead, for 40 years, you will wander around in the desert. That is 1 year for each of the 40 days that the men explored the land." In our story, we heard how God told Moses to send spies into the promised land of Canaan. The spies found it would be a good place to live, but only Joshua and Caleb thought they should go. The rest of God's people, the Israelites, were too scared to go into the new land that God had given them. They thought that the people who lived there would attack and kill them. Even though God had already helped them in lots of different ways, they didn't trust God to be with them. So God said they would stay in the desert for 40 years, and it would be their children who would live in the land of Canaan instead. I wonder, have you ever been scared to go to a new place or do something new? You may like to close your eyes and think about that now. I'm going to say a prayer, and if you'd like to make it your prayer too, please say amen at the end after me. Dear God, help me to remember when I'm scared about going to a new place or doing something new. You will be with me. Amen. What's that, Francis John? You don't really want to miss out on your free jar of honey, but you are still scared. So will I come with you, as you are sure I'm big and stronger than any bears we might meet? Of course I will come, but I'm sure you'll have nothing to worry about. Do you think I might get some honey too? Well, thank you for joining us for our story, Moses Sends Out 12 Spies into Canaan. We look forward to you joining us again soon. Goodbye and God bless.